Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Joe and Jet, 未過濾的 with Jason. We have a very special guest here today, my former teammate. Very glad to have him here. He is a 2007 to 2011 Texas Tech alum. 2011 and 2012, he played overseas for a couple years, and then 2012 came back and played for Rio Grande Valley Vipers in the G League, or at that time was the D League, and then 2013 for Erie Bayhawks, also D League, and then went back to Rio Grande Valley Vipers. 2013 went to Philippines, 2014-15 in Italy, 2016 he played in the B League, Osaka. And in that same year, he went back to the Philippines. And then 2016 to 2020, he played for Mono Vampire in Thailand, ABL, where I guess we first met. And then from 2020 till now, on Taipei Fubon Braves. He is an NBA D-League champion. He is a two-time Thailand Basketball Super League champion, and he is also a Thailand Super Basketball League MVP. He is the ABL Basketball Importer of the Year and Forward of the Year in 2019. He is a back-to-back P-League Finals MVP 2021-2022. And he is a three-times P-League champion back-to-back-to-back. NCAA Big 12 tournament record of 29 straight points, finishing with 43 against Texas A&M in 2009. That is quite the accomplishment. We welcome Mike Singletary.
What's up, Mike?
Glad to have you here, man.
Hey, that is a hell of an intro, man. that is a hell of an intro.
That's a longest.
That English intro was way better than my Chinese one that I done before. That was a lot better.
That was
fluent,
impressive, man. That was impressive.
All right. So, Mike, congratulations on your third child, third boy. How crazy is the fan going to be with three boys now?
Oh my gosh, man. Going from 1 to 2 is like, all right, you're okay, because you can each handle one.
Yeah.
Right.
And then now we got like 3, so it's like 2 might be crying, screaming, and like 1 running around crazy.
Yeah.
So it's like never not off duty, man. But it's awesome, man. Having 3 boys is cool. So hopefully one of them gets to do something in basketball. That'd be great.
Oh, I was just going to ask you about that. Do you think any of them is going to pursue your, path in basketball?
I mean, if you guys know Paxton is like a baller.
Right.
Like, he sees a basketball and he's like, he wants to play all day. Koa, I think Koa's going to be some football player, man, or something, because Koa's just a little tank. He likes basketball, but I think he likes hitting people more than he likes anything else.
Oh, really?
He might be a football player. And then Tatum, we'll just have to see, man.
Okay. Okay.
Are you getting a lot less sleep these days? Because Jet is getting a lot less
Yeah. I kind of tell him, I'm like, hey, bro, it's your time right now. You don't get no sleep now.
Yeah. You have a lot of advice you can give him.
Hey, well, I just tell him, hey, bro, you're gonna be tired. Yeah. It's just this a life.
You just
man.
have to deal with it.
It's just a life, man. That's what it is now.
We would like to know a little bit about your, I guess, basketball journey. Did you grow up always like loving basketball as a kid? Like, was it introduced to you at a very young age? Like, how did you fall in love with the sport?
Honestly, for me, man, like basketball, like wasn't even like was like my third sport.
Mm-hmm.
Like I grew up playing. Obviously, I think everybody as a kid, for the most part, plays soccer, especially in the States. Like you just play soccer, and then my grandfather was a big baseball player, and my uncle was a really, really good like baseball player. Like chose football instead of baseball, but could have went to the pros. Like, he was that good. So. Those 2 were the ones that I really played, and I just played basketball, just played
on the side.
Yeah,
On the side, like, with
like
your
maybe this will be okay.
Yeah.
Like, and one, I wasn't good at soccer. Like, I didn't like it. It wasn't good. And baseball, like, I think I liked it, but I just getting in that batter's box and like having that ball thrown at you, even at a young age, bro. Like, it just never appealed to me. Like, I was like, this isn't fun, because if this hits me, like I feel like it's gonna really hurt.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. And so like I hit like a growth spurt, and then it was like, maybe I'll start doing this basketball thing. And
Around what age do you?
I was probably later, man. So I really didn't start like hooping until like maybe 11, 12.
Okay.
Like really hooping.
Yeah.
So like now I think it's later than most kids.
That's like middle school.
Yeah, it's late.
Yeah.
So like I think I started really hooping maybe 5th or 6th grade. Like 6th grade, I'll say 6th grade, I really started playing.
Okay.
And was like, okay, I can do this thing. Like, I
Yeah.
like this. So later than most,
Yeah.
but I had height on my side. So, like,
Yeah.
I was able to kind of catch up a little faster than most.
So then high school, like when you got to high school, were you like, all right, I'm better than high school? It's like, when were you like, okay, I want to play varsity and all that?
I think honestly, like for me, I think 7th grade was when I was like, all right, bro, like I'm really kind of nice.
Yeah.
Like I was like, all right, I'm kind of nice. Like, so like, I think I started really like getting after it, like playing AAU and really training.
Mm-hmm.
I think I got to be like one of the top 4 players in my class in 7th and 8th grade.
Okay.
And so I was like, all right,
Yeah.
dude, this is all right. We can do this. And my mom's like sitting there like telling me like, yeah, you better do this because this is how you're going to go to college, you know? And so like I was really
Like it's going to help you get.
Well, and she was like, you know what I mean? Like you need a scholarship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so really going after it. But then like 7th and 8th grade, I think I really found like, all right, I think I'm better than most of the people that I get to play against. And then high school just kind of, you know, I went to a competitive high school. So my coach told me as an 8th grader, he was like, I want you to play varsity as a freshman. He said, but you're going to have to earn it.
Mm-hmm.
And so he made me earn it. And I didn't start. I probably played, 10 minutes a game.
So you went straight to varsity. You didn't
Straight
like
to varsity.
skip JV. Yeah.
Skip JV, went straight to varsity. And that year, that team was good. We got to the round right before state. But yeah, he made me earn it. So I'm grateful for that coach because most coaches in most high schools that I would have went to other than that would have seen that I was a pretty good player in 8th grade. They would have just been like, here, you just play.
Give you the key.
Yeah, and I had to earn it. I had to play against guys that were bigger, stronger. And so I learned a lot.
And did you always know that you were going to chase basketball as a career?
I think once you get to that point, I think you try to. I think that's the goal, right? Like you just like you're like, hey, maybe I can. I think we all think like the NBA, especially in the States.
Yeah,
like that's like you just think like the NBA.
That's the only goal.
It's the only goal, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't really think of anything else. And I had never known or seen anybody else play anywhere other than that. Like I didn't know about overseas basketball.
Right.
So like I was like, oh yeah, man, I can get to the NBA.
Especially back then with no social media.
With no social media, man.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just seeing the only players you're seeing are the ones that you see
or
live,
hear about.
Or
like,
hear about.
Like in another city. Or,
But like you still don't see them live. And then when you see them live, you're like, oh, damn. Like they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Like so, but after that point, man, like I thought like, all right, maybe I can do this thing. Especially when you start getting, recruiting letters and stuff like that. You're like, hey, man, maybe I can actually make this a career.
Then when did you know, and realize that, this could be your career?
Honestly, man, like even coming out of college, like I said, I didn't know anything about like overseas basketball.
Okay.
Like I knew you go to college and I knew either you have NBA draft workouts or whatever.
Just find
all
a job.
That stuff. And then it's like, if you don't have that, then it's like you find a job.
Yeah.
You know what I
You
mean?
don't really consider
You don't really
overseas
consider
as a real
like
option.
overseas. And luckily, like I had a guy who graduated 1 year ahead of me who ended up going and playing in Spain. And I started talking to him and I was like, what is this whole thing like? Like, what do you mean you play overseas? Like you travel and like, what is that like? And he kind of gave me some tips about it. And that kind of, I guess, shifted me to being like, oh, damn, like it doesn't end after college. Like I can actually, I can actually go.
It's kind of cool that you can, play basketball that you like, and also you're making money.
For sure. Yeah. And I mean, like I said, like the NBA, if you get there, great. But then also, I think a lot of guys like have that view of just like NBA or bust.
Yeah.
But like they don't realize like playing overseas, like you can make a great living playing overseas.
Right.
For sure. Let's backtrack a little bit and like obviously you must have killed high school.
Did you?
How was the recruiting process to college? Like obviously you went to Texas Tech, but like you probably went on a few recruiting trips.
I went on a few.
How would you explain that process?
Well, I think my first offer I got was in 8th grade from UT.
Yo,
That was like a
bro, getting an offer in 8th grade is
Grade is like 14
stupid.
years old.
14.
14, 15.
I was. Yeah,
14 I was still in the
I think I was
like junior high school.
I think I was 15.
15.
And that was my first like official like. They were like, "Hey, you need to come here."
I mean, so UT University of Texas.
University of Texas, Austin.
Like I'm not like super familiar with
Kevin,
all that.
you're
but,
talking about like Kevin Durant and like that school.
They gave
Yes.
wow.
So that was my first like offer. And then I had other schools that were kind of like on the verge, but they were the first ones to the party. It was UT. They had seen me a lot because in Texas, when you get to the state championships or whatever, everything's played at UT's campus.
Okay.
So they had like a first like view of what I was, and they saw me live all the time, and they took me around and showed me stuff on unofficial visits as an 8th grader, like showing me the locker room, what it would be like, all that stuff. So they were my first official one. And then after that, then more and more teams like started coming around. But most of my teams were a lot of the teams in the Big 12. I think my play style was just more suited for that kind of basketball. Big 12, kind of tough and rough. And that's so Baylor came coming along pretty quickly after. Oklahoma, A&M was a big one too. Pretty much I had everybody in the Big 12 except for obviously Kansas. And at that time, Kansas was just unreal.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the recruiting process was awesome. It's a lot. It's a lot to take in, especially if you don't have anybody who's done it before. So, yeah, it's fun, but it's also, man, it can also mess you up if you don't have guys who are kind of leading you in the, right direction as far as like what to do and what not to do.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to ask about the, how PJ always came when PJ play on the same team.
Who's PJ?
PJ the third.
PJ.
Oh, okay.
Bro, are you
Bing
you
Shui.
actually forgot?
Perry Jones.
Perry Jones.
Yeah.
So
Why don't you just say Perry Jones? Say PJ,
But we
PJ.
always call him PJ, right? But anyways, you call you Texas legend.
There's a lot of guys like named PJ.
Oh yeah, my bad. Okay, Perry Jones.
No, I'm on your side.
Okay, Perry Jones. But he always called you Texas legend. Where that nickname came from? Like when you got that nickname?
I mean, he gave me that nickname.
Really?
I mean, I think he did. I don't know, man. He says Texas legend. So my high school career, my team lost. I think I lost maybe 10 games in high school.
Okay.
Like
Throughout your 4 years of high. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
We were good. We went to state 3 years in a row from my sophomore year to my senior year. We won state when I was a sophomore, and I won. I think I won most valuable player for the tournament or something like that as a sophomore. So we won a lot. So
Okay.
I think that's where
averaging
I
like
think
30 a game.
that's where Texas legend comes from, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, so that might be it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for clearing up that up.
Yeah. Shout out to PJ.
High
man.
school,
Yeah.
high school legend.
Man.
All right, so tell us like about your Texas Tech like experience being in the Big 12. You're playing against like a major college like all the time. How fun and like how hard was that?
It's like it's so fun because you get to play against like especially at that time, like they were the best of the best. Like they were
Like who did you like play against? Like maybe some of them already in the NBS right now.
I mean the Morris twins, Mario Chalmers.
Mario Jones. Okay.
I mean you had DJ Augustine, Kevin Durant was there, Blake Griffin. I mean you can go down the list, man. Like it was Big 12 basketball was insane.
Yeah.
So it was so fun to play against those guys. But then also at the time, like I went to Texas Tech, and Texas Tech isn't really it wasn't the basketball school that it is like now, which now it's more like popular being a basketball school. But when I went, it wasn't really that. I went because Bobby Knight was the coach.
Oh, okay.
And like he recruited me and like basically was like, hey, we want you to come here. And he's one of the greatest coaches ever. So like for him to kind of say like, hey, I want you to come here and play, I was like, all right. But Actually, I gotta tell a funny story because y'all are gonna actually like this. So, Bobby Knight is recruiting me, and he is like, hey, they do in-home visits. I don't, like that's a thing. The coaches come to your house, talk to your parents.
Like that's the stuff you see in movies.
Yeah. Like for real. That's like for real.
Yeah.
Right? So we set it up. Like he comes in, man, and I'm upstairs, like just kind of BSing around. And the doorbell rings. My mom answers the door, and she's like, "Hey, Coach Knight's here." So I come downstairs, and she opens the door, and I'm like, first thing I thought was, holy shit, this guy is huge.
Oh.
Like I'm talking about like 6'5" and like just like a big dude.
Right.
And that threw me off because I'm like, holy crap. Like I've only seen you on TV and you don't look like that. So he sits down and we start talking or whatever, and he's like, yeah, I want you to come here, kind of telling me that like my class was going to be his last class before he kind of retired. And so I was like, yeah, coach, well, I got other offers, but I'd like to take a visit, but, we'll kind of see what happens. And he tells me, he says, well, if you don't come to my school, I'm going to take out my shotgun.
Really?
Like, for real. Like, I goes, I'm going to take out my shotgun and we're going to have a problem. And I was like,
That's serious.
Yeah. Like,
He's
No,
not,
bro.
like,
He did not say that.
no,
That's
bro.
serious.
Like, no, I mean.
Without any smile.
Like, serious. No smile, bro. Like, nothing. And I'm sitting there, like, you're like a high schooler. So I'm just like sitting there, like, kind of like, you get that like weird, like fake laugh. Kind of scared. But you're also like, are you going to laugh now? Like, is it time for you to laugh now?
Yeah.
And he didn't laugh. And like, and then he was finally like,
You were just like waiting.
yeah, I was just waiting, bro.
Just like waiting.
And then finally he taps me and goes, I'm just kidding. And I was like, okay, you're a little bit of a psycho, but I kind of like it. I kind of like it. So that was, but yeah, I mean, it was tough, man. Big 12 was tough. I'm grateful for it because I got to play a lot of great guys and a lot of great teams. So I think it shaped me and molded me into, being the player that I am now for sure.
Wait, so University of Texas is different from Texas Tech?
Yeah, so there's probably 5. There's 5 big schools in Texas. So you got University of Houston, you have Texas Tech, you have UT, which is Texas at Austin, and then you have Texas A&M, and then you have Baylor.
Okay.
So those are the big kind of like 5 schools, and they're all like, at that time, they were all basketball schools too. So all of them have kind of produced a NBA player at some point.
Yeah.
So
if UT was recruiting you hard for so long, how come you, or I guess you just said because of Bobby Knight?
yeah, I think
Or like the recruiting trip changed everything?
UT was like on the rise. So they were, like, I think the following year they got Kevin Durant. So they were getting like these top talents. And I wanted to play.
Yeah.
And you have coaches that tell you, yeah, you'll play like your first year or you'll play your second year, whatever. But a lot of that stuff is bullshit.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to go to that school and be like,
On the
here.
bench.
Yeah, I really wanted to play.
Right.
Like, I was like, I'm all about going to a big school, but like I want to play and I actually want to compete. So Texas Tech was gonna give me the opportunity to do that. So I figured, why not?
So when you talk about like a visiting the school, like when I watch the movie, like player, like they get recruit, and they go to school, like visiting, and they have
Usually there's a big party.
yeah, big party, like, all the fans, lines up in the gym, and the cheerleader were dancing and shit, and coach be like showing a good time, taking a nice dinner and party and stuff.
Yeah.
Did you have that?
That's exactly what it is.
Okay.
Okay.
Damn.
Now I think obviously every school is different, but my recruiting trip was similar. Like
all of them.
yeah, most of them were like that. Yeah, I mean, I think the only one I took that wasn't like that was I took a visit to Oklahoma State. And it was like we still had the party or whatever, but like Oklahoma State, they were trying to be real Like, oh, we just want you to come here about playing ball. We're not gonna do all that stuff. So
There's gonna be no alcohol.
yeah, there's
no
gonna
girls.
be nothing here. Like, we're not gonna do anything. You're gonna meet the players and then you're gonna go home. And so I was like, yeah, nah.
Would you the only player there, like visiting school, or you were with some other players?
So normally when you do official visits, they do it with, you know, like I mean like a couple of players, so a couple other high school guys.
Because you probably play pickup with them.
Yeah, so like what they'll do is they'll maybe bring in, I would say maybe 3 to 5 high school players.
Okay.
And
So you guys basically just party together.
yeah, but then it's also kind of messed up though because there's like tiers of those 5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like they're-
There's like gold level, silver level, and like
so there's
that
like
type of
tiers
crap.
of it. So like me and actually he became my teammate. He's still one of my really good friends, my point guard. We were like the 2 top dudes in Texas in our class, and they really wanted us to get there. So we're kind of all hanging out and doing whatever. They're showing us the locker rooms and showing us all this stuff, cheerleaders, all this stuff, right? And then like they kind of and then they kind of pull us, like me and him, to the side and like take us on this like other like this
like a little
other,
private
like this other, like private tour, right?
VIP tour.
Yeah, like it's like a VIP tour, and we're like, what?
like you feel awkward a little bit.
Yeah, because I'm like, what about them?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, like. They're like, oh, we want those guys, but like, if
But
they
we
don't-
really want
yeah,
you.
but if they don't come, we're okay. And I'm like, all right, but I think like obviously the movies make it like extreme,
Right.
but the idea is the same.
Yeah.
When I watch it, I'm like, there's no way. It's just movie. So I had to like
no,
ask
the
you
idea.
about it.
The idea is really the same.
That's crazy.
It's like
That's
it really is.
That made like a Taiwan like college is so boring, you know.
I know. We should
guys
have
got
that
to
get
now.
hate-
We
about
should
to
have
get
that
hella
in
hate for
Taiwan.
Hey,
They'll
they
be
don't
like, oh yeah.
they don't even go. They don't even go like visit your house like in person. They just called you, hey, you good, and we want you.
Really?
And yeah,
That's how it works.
It's too
Yeah.
small. Taiwan's too small.
I guess
Like
so.
everyone knows, like the basketball circle's so small. Like
Yeah.
everyone's connected.
like I don't
They
even
could get
feel.
to. They could get to anyone by a phone call. You know?
yeah,
Yeah. America's too big.
Yeah.
I don't even like feel special.
Yeah.
Coach, what?
Wait.
Where's the party?
You want me to come here? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, bring the cheerleaders.
Yeah. Bring the cheerleaders out, man. Ready to go.
So did you guys like ever made a tournament, and what was the closest you got to winning the Big 12?
Shit, we were average. Like we were an average team. We went. And
Well, to make the tournament, first of all, do you have to win the Big 12, or is
you have to be one of the top teams of the Big 12. Like now, the Big 12 maybe might take like 6 teams to the tournament,
Oh.
which is a lot.
yeah.
But when we were there, like it was like we'll take 4, and
So
we
it's
weren't
top 4.
Yeah, and we weren't that talented to do that. We had like a whole bunch of like roster turnover. Coach Knight decided that he was going to retire after my freshman year, so that kind of pissed me off.
Yeah.
And threw me for a little bit of a loop because I was like, I don't really want to
Be
here.
Like I came for
Yeah,
you.
like I really don't want to be here. And then his son took over, and it was kind of like I don't. Really,
as a coach.
yeah.
Oh.
So he was like the coach in waiting, I guess, like the next coach up. And we didn't really have the greatest relationship. So, but yeah, I mean, we never got close to that. I think we got to the NIT tournament, which is like for the people that don't make the big tournament. And we did that. And we lost in like the semifinals of that, but we just weren't as great as we probably could have been. Yeah.
Well, I mean, for a bit. What about Big 12 though? Which you guys ever get to like semis or?
We got to, I think that the furthest we got when I was there is we got to the quarterfinals because
Okay.
when we were there, like we were not as good. We didn't do as well in the Big 12 like during the regular season. So like you have to play like almost like a play-in game. If you know what I mean, like play a play-in game and then you got to go play one of the top teams. And you're like,
You're set up to lose.
yeah. Like, this is fun. Okay, cool. You win your first game. Now you got to go play Kansas, who just won the national championship. And you're
Yeah.
like,
All right.
this is cool.
Yeah. What would you say? Like, do you have any like super memorable matchups or specific games, or like, did you play against a player where you're like, he's going to the league?
So I'll give you two memorable. I'll give you a player, and then I'll give you like a memorable like memory. So, my freshman year, I played a little bit, but like I didn't play as much as I probably thought I was going to. So my freshman year, we go to Kansas and we play them on their senior night. So I don't know if you like the States, like college, like senior nights are like, if you play that team at home on senior night and they're a good team, it's like they're there to beat your ass. Like the likelihood of you winning that game is like very low. Right? And so we signed up for that. And we got there and we play them, and we're down like, 40 in like the first half, bro. Like, it is the craziest venue I've ever played in. It's loud. People are going crazy. And I'm looking at this team from the bench, and I'm like, fuck, these are freaking pros. These guys are better than us. And, like, they had their walk-ons they had a walk-on who came in, and he had 20 off the bench.
Oh,
and I was like, this is not for us, man. Like, this is not what it's supposed to be. And luckily, that team ended up winning the national championship, so I felt a little bit better about it. I was like, we got beat by the national champs. It's okay. But player-wise, Blake Griffin, man.
Oh, wow.
Was unreal. Like, you're talking about a guy who's like 6'9", 6'10", and like at that time, he was like athletic Blake,
and strong. He was already like pro strong.
Yes, yeah. So like he was strong, he was fast, he could handle the ball too. He just couldn't shoot yet, but like he was a matchup nightmare. So like you put bigger guys on him, and he was just like
way faster.
I'm just way too fast, and I'm more athletic than you. But he was, I would say him and Michael Beasley were the two.
Oh shoot, you played against Michael Beasley?
Were the two players that I saw that I was like up live in person that I was like,
where did Michael Beasley go?
Kansas State.
Oh, bro.
I was like, you two don't need to be here. This is not for you guys. You guys need to go to that other level. You guys are not supposed to be here. Those two were probably the two that I saw like in person, and I was like, holy shit, these guys are on a different level. Yeah.
So you played all 4 years. You do all the pre-draft stuff?
Dude, I didn't do any pre-draft stuff. My college coach did not give me the best players on that team. Me and my buddy, who's
the point guard,
who we both played overseas like 14 years now. So we're pretty good. Yeah. He didn't get us any workouts. He didn't make no calls for us. Nothing, bro. So like we had to do it on our own. And at that time,
which like no connection.
It's like impossible. Yeah. And you know what I mean? Like, because they're not taking a look at us because we sucked. Like, we weren't very good. So like, why would I bring this guy in? He might be pretty good, but like I don't know. So like I didn't get no draft workouts. Nothing, bro.
Like Portsmouth Invitational, like didn't do any of that.
Nothing.
No workouts.
Nothing. Zero.
But zero. So you can still declare for the draft?
You could declare.
Oh.
Like,
dude, what?
Yeah. And honestly, man, like it's much different now. I think obviously social media plays a huge impact in it now. Yeah. Because like you can be seen from anywhere. You can be seen from anywhere. So like I think now it makes it a little bit easier to kind of get some of those like invites and those workouts. But like back then, dude, we get zero. None.
Bro, that's crazy. None.
Yeah, it's wild, man. But
okay, so I guess that sucks, man.
It's crazy.
What about agent? Did you have like agent at that time?
I ended up getting an agent like
because even my agent got me like 5 like workout with NBAs.
Yeah, well, you're probably better than me.
I played D2,
yeah, bro. Doesn't mean anything. But honestly, though, like you said, like your agent, like if you have a good agent, your agent can get you, at least get you in. Like he can get you into some workout. Yeah. But like the agent I had, he didn't get me into anything, and he wasn't my agent for very long after that. But no offense, yeah, man, no workouts, no nothing. So like my whole summer after college was literally training, and like where I trained were some of those guys that were going in the draft and stuff like that. So I got to work out against them there, but there was never no like official NBA guys like sitting there like an NBA workout.
I'm sure. Okay, so I'm sure you've competed with some of the guys that might have gotten picked late or maybe undrafted, but like played in D League at the time.
Yeah.
You feel like you could have had a chance for sure.
Oh yeah. I mean, no offense to some of the guys in the NBA now too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's all about fit. Like there's no bad player in the NBA. Like if you're in the NBA, like you're in the top % of the world.
Yeah.
But I do think there are some guys who just are there because for whatever reason.
You mean Giannis' brother?
Well, Pat Bev said he's actually nice.
So I haven't. So like I have. We were talking about him the other day. Somebody brought him up, and I was like, I mean, like, do I think he's a good NBA player? No. I said, but if you take him and let's say like you brought him to Taiwan.
Oh my God.
Against us in the kill. I'm like, would he probably kill? I'm like, probably.
Yeah.
So like I'm like that's why there's levels, right, as far as that goes.
But also it's just like that's Giannis's.
Yeah.
So
and
like,
so
do you want Giannis?
Right.
Yeah.
And so
you do.
I think
There's that connection.
I think there's some of that, man, like where there are connects and it helps get you in the door and maybe it helps you keep a job for a little bit, but also, you know, you might have the connect, but like you also got to have the ability to stay.
Yeah.
Like you can't be a
for
bum,
sure.
you know
For
what I mean? So but do I think I could have stuck? Yeah. I think I could have figured out a way to stick.
Okay. So
I'm sorry about that, man. That's
Oh, dude.
I didn't even know because like, dude, you don't hear, bro. Seriously, you don't hear about like a player that has like NBA aspirations, plays at a big college, and then like the coach does not vouch for him, and the agent doesn't give him any workouts. He didn't even have a chance. I'm
telling you, at that time, man, like it just wasn't like you had to have you had to know like a great agent, like Jess talking about, or like your coach had to like put in calls for you.
Yeah.
Especially if you didn't play like on a team that was that good. And at that time, like I think our coach, he ended up getting fired like a year later. So like he was already like on his way out. So he was like, I'm not going to do anything for these guys. And
he's not invested.
And he wasn't invested. So like he didn't do anything for us. So we had to figure it out on our own.
Coaches play a big part.
Huge part.
Huge part.
Huge part.